Right. Now, before we start the whole podcast running, let me ask you guys a quick question. Have you ever wondered if your success is worth sacrificing you, your relationships, family, and even yourself? Well, if you have, then this episode is for you.
I'm not sure if we're still on live, so for anyone who's listening to us, um, obviously not everything is going alright. So let's just stay tuned for a second. Let me know if you can hear me. I can't hear Ray soon anymore. So let's see what happens. So if you can let us know in the comments if you can at least see and hear me, we'll take it from there. Well, I think I'm the only one who's live now. So yeah, let's just give it a moment, and by all means let me know in the comments if you can hear and see me, and hopefully Ray is back in no time, because of course we've got something very important to talk about today, and if not, I'll log out and we'll try again. So if you can see us, please say hello. I think I'm just needing to do this again, because of course we have something very exciting for you all today. But I think the internet gods are not on our side today. So let me know if you still here. I can see myself loud and clear, but I think that's about it. So I'm gonna log out. We will be back in a few minutes. So by all means, stay tuned. You just need to find the latest video. Okay, bye.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh fuck. What the hell happened? Hey? Hey?
Yay! We're back.
Right, my bad. Okay, my bad. Alright, alright.
It's okay. I told everyone to stay tuned, and you got cut off right in the middle of the question. So if everyone can let us know, we can hear and see everyone loud and clear. Continue with your
Alright.
question, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, we'll take it from there. Okay, but we're gonna do a restart for this. My bad. Okay, so all right. Now, before we start the whole podcast running, let me ask you guys a quick question. Have you ever wondered if your success is worth sacrificing you, your relationships, family, and even your health? Well, if you have, then this episode is for you. Hi, my name is Rayson Chu, and I'm your host for the Legacy Show. And today is another amazing episode where we have a great guest all the way from Scotland, and we are actually going to talk a lot about mindfulness and at the same time work-life balance as well. And I do not want to actually take too much of the time, but I want to introduce a little bit more about Suzanne. Okay, this guest, her name is Suzanne Grant. Okay, she is an award-winning work-life balance integration expert, intuitive business coach and consultant, and international best-selling author. She supports CEOs, entrepreneurs, and conscious leaders to redefine success so they have the impact they desire without sacrificing their health, relationships, or even themselves. So after the birth of a child in 2015, she realized the collective lie, where hard work equals success wasn't working for her, and she did not want the next generation to grow up and think that this was normal. So she made a powerful decision. She gave herself permission to break free of the old way of doing business and created a new business model where holistic health and wealth are an integral part of the business and the success. Today, she runs an award-winning coaching company and hosts sold-out masterminds and events. Her work has been featured in Thrive Global, Authority Magazine, Brains Magazine, Billion Success, and many more. In fact, thousands of people have benefited from her work who are now living life on their terms as they implement Suzanne's motto, work smarter, not harder. Well, without further ado, let's welcome Suzanne in the house. Woohoo! Hey!
Thank you so much.
Yo, you're most welcome. Wow, it's really an honor to have you here, and thank you so much for willing to pick this timing to actually come and add a lot of value to our audience, not just from Singapore, but from all over the world. And also at the same time, it's really, really amazing time to have you here. So,
Thank you.
how's the situation over at Scotland?
Well, it depends on what you focus on, but it's still, of course, with the whole, global pandemic, it's still work in progress. Let's keep it at that.
All right,
And
okay.
yeah, it's finding new ways to discover what works for everyone, isn't it? I
Yeah,
think
it is.
that's clearly the what 2020 for most of us what it was about, because the things we used to do kind of got
Yep.
all stripped away, didn't it?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like this is the time like a lot of people are being affected, not just Scotland, not just in Singapore, but worldwide. It's like a
Yes.
pandemic that's made everyone wake up in a sense. It's like a wake up call for everyone,
Yeah, we all got
especially.
grounded, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe you are pretty much stuck at home, but you can still go out or something like this.
Yeah, the rules constantly change, and like I said before we started, I don't really follow the news just because it's a lot of negativity each day,
Oh
and
yes,
so
yeah.
I just look it up if it's relevant for us. But I believe the rules are now is that you can just go to the shops, yeah, as required, as in groceries, food, that kind of stuff, and you can go outside in your neighborhood once a day, but travel, family visits, everything is still. Yeah, a no
All
go.
right.
So for example, for me, I work from home. I'm a mother as well. I can't have any babysitters around the house. So as we were making this appointment, we had to work around nap times, and my husband is on his way, and well, you were kind enough to
Well,
make a late appointment for you so we could figure this all out. So it,
well,
it,
thank you.
it works out, but it does require, of course, another level of communication and expressing what it is you need. And luckily, with the right people, you can still make a lot happen. Fortunately.
Yep, I agree. I totally agree on that. And why not let's start the whole interview running. And I would like to actually ask you this thing whereby we actually heard a lot about you just now when I was actually introducing about yourself. So can you tell us a little bit about your childhood backstory? Like like
I'll keep it short,
how was it? Yeah.
but it's quite a story as it is. I grew
Hmm.
up in a family that wasn't too pleasant, to put it nicely. And as I was growing up with a lot of allergies myself, because I'm really sensitive to not just energies, hence me being an intuitive business coach, because I work a lot with energy, chakras, all that kind of stuff. But I'm also really sensitive to chemicals or like a house with house build or paint, that kind of stuff. So growing up, that was quite a journey, to put it nicely. And growing up, unfortunately, my parents didn't have quite the coping skills to deal with everything that was going on. And I left home when I was 17. And shortly after, I got the diagnosis of post traumatic stress disorder. So my childhood was that's traumatic, that it's it left a mark. And I did manage to fully recover from that, even though it was diagnosed, like I said, at 17, and at 18 it was actually labeled as complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And the psychologist at the time told me I was beyond help. It was not fixable. So, you're 18, life's over, kind of it. So because of that whole journey and growing up, I absolutely know firsthand how important mental health, but also physical health, of course, with tied in with all the allergies and stuff, how important that is if you want to be able to create a life that works for you. So that's why a big part of my work is one, sharing about my story, about the journey of mental health, PTSD, but also the recovery, and basically just opening up the dialogue that, look, we can have success, we can be a successful entrepreneur or business owner, even if you have mental health issues or physical disabilities. Bit of a big word, but you know what I mean. There are ways to make it work for you, but what you need specifically is really, of course, specifically unique to your situation. And I hope by opening up, this dialogue even more, like, for example, talking to you, and I do a lot of interviews about this, really showing people there is a way where we have entrepreneurship, success, but not in a way where you effectively work yourself into a burnout or into a heart attack just because you work 80 hours a week, 90 hours a week, because you just need to hustle and push and that kind of stuff. And I hope by giving people another perspective, they will discover something that works for them and serves them best. So, because I don't know, I know you talked to a couple of guests as well, and I don't know, of course, you're the opposite of the world for me, what you see in the media, but it's a lot about the hustle culture, right? To grind, making it work, just work hard. And of course, if you want to create something that's for you, you need to take some action, right? Yes, there is some work involved to working towards your dream. But if you work 80, 90 hours per week, of which you work 90% of the time on things that aren't productive, effective for the dream you're building, then you might as well just work 10, right? True. And feel great and have enough time for spend for your family. So it's about realizing the things we actually doing, whether that's productive, whether it's helpful, whether it's actually contributing to your big vision that you have for yourself, your life, your business, your family. So hence, the backstory from my troubled childhood to what it is that I do now. I just, for me personally, I don't want to have another generation of traumatized children, just because obviously I went through my own fair share of struggle, mental health issues, everything that comes, of course, with PTSD. And that's what you say when you were introducing me in 2015 with my first daughter. She was a year at that time. And that's, for me, that was the moment I was like, no, we're not going to do this another generation. It stops with me. And that was that moment that you just told about, where I took effectively the responsibility. Okay, this has happened because of the generations before me. We didn't know better. We don't know better. We don't know what to do with this. But I'm gonna figure out something for me and the offspring that follows from me to give a different perspective, because this cannot be the only way that we as a human species can be successful. And turned out it's not. But we'll talk about that more.
Okay, sure. I totally agree with you on that, especially when it comes to success. A lot of times we are all always being advocated about hustle, the grind, and everything else. But of course, people like Gary Vee, he advocates on that. People like Grant Cardone, they do have their own perspective on that. But of course, they also do have that 6 hours, 8 hours of sleep that they also highly recommend as well which I believe you will be sharing with us a lot about all these habits and the top 1%
Well-being,
value.
yes,
Yes, which
exactly.
we will come to that later on. And I just want to ask you, right, when you first started your business, what or even who actually inspired you to do that?
It was my daughter. Like I said, it was
Okay.
just it was actually my birthday when I got like it felt like a massive download, like completely inspired from the universe kind of thing. I remember jumping out of bed like at the middle of the night, like and writing everything down. I just felt so strongly about teaching the things that I know of my perspective, of my journey to other people. And like I said, for me, but also the people I work with, that is, but there's so much stuff we pass on through generation that is like normal. It's culture. Well, it's actually really toxic. Right, and I don't know if you have any examples yourself, but for here, of course, the most basic one is if for here is like as a woman you can't proceed science. That's the one thing I heard when I was growing up, because I was really good at maths and numbers and that kind of stuff. So yeah, you can't do that because you're just a woman. Well, those are one of the most basic examples, and I'm sure you can relate to this stuff. They're things we believe, some groups or as a collective, that actually are not true, and success comes with sacrifice. um, I believe is one of them. It can be different.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
agree.
that's why the birth of my daughter and her growing up for me was the point that I was like, nope, no more. I'm
Okay.
figuring this out. So yeah, she was the catalyst for me starting all this.
Well, so I truly believe, like, as your daughter is growing up, you're also inculcating all these values and knowledge to your daughter as well about success, about I
Yes.
believe she's like she will be one of your best coaches in the sense. She will be well
Who
coached
knows? We'll
by
see. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, I'm truly I would say really inspired by this because your daughter is like one of the inspiration, because most of the time my guests will always say that, oh, Tony Robbins is the one who inspired me, or probably their parents are the one, but this time around it's actually the
It's the
birth
other
of
way
your
around.
it's a
Yeah.
what other way around, yeah. And
The kids are the future, isn't it? And if we just leave
yeah.
them with a big pile of you know what to sort out, it's
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
so
came from the heart, didn't it? That message.
yes, it came from the heart, and
Yeah.
so that's why it's really important to actually know that, when you want to start a business, you want to do something, you want to achieve something, you need to actually know that purpose, that why for creating your business and all this kind of stuff, in a sense, because you once you know the why, you are inspired by your uh, other than money, but you're more inspired by probably your daughter, or all the other people, or some
Whatever it
other,
is, something to
yeah,
drive you forward. Well,
correct,
even if it is money, there's absolutely nothing wrong with making money while you're in business.
yeah,
But
I agree.
it's a feeling,
But
definitely.
it's definitely sexier if it is like, oh, other than money, it's like, oh, because I want to make my parents retire earlier, or even like, for
Make a
example,
change, have an
make a change in
impact.
the world. Yeah,
Yeah,
have an impact. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
people will follow you even more. And while you were actually building this business up, what were the top three challenges that you faced during that period of time?
Oh, well, at the time, I was still recovering from my PTSD. So it was, especially, of course, for anyone who's been a parent with kids, you can't all have a break if you don't have any help, right? And especially because of my little girl. I was breastfeeding at the time, so she was like wholly dependent on me. There was no support, no nothing, because you know, my husband doesn't make milk. It's that simple.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's and that for me, well, because of my PTSD, it was manageable at the time because I took enough time for me to look after myself, but it was manageable and it wasn't resolved. And that, especially starting my business, when I realized, look, this is not gonna be the norm, I still had a little bit of healing to do myself, which I found, luckily. But that was the biggest thing, is finding that balance. You can see how that ties in with my work now, and yeah, finding something that works. So that was the biggest thing. Just that really on a deep level, look after myself, and yeah, reap the benefits from that. And besides that, I think the second one was that just effectively finding a way, because there's so much noise out there of all those people saying this is the way to do it, this is the way to do it, this is the way to do it. And if your belief system doesn't support their way of doing it, it's not going to be a success. And no, I guess how I found that out, obviously I discovered it myself, by putting all the work and then nothing. So there is the thing to say for taking action, but it also has to be aligned or inspired action. So there's the combination again, so that balance of the energetics and putting things into to work. And yeah, for me, I think combined with, of course, my mental health, my physical health, finding a way that works, and then also living abroad, because I don't know if you pick up on my accent, I'm not Scottish. I just live here. I moved here from the Netherlands a few years ago. So I'm actually Dutch, living in a different country with no support system. And my husband, he is Scottish. So I think those three are the biggest things if you want to grow a business, especially fast. It's having the support.
Yeah.
Whether that's a team member or a babysitter or your mom who can watch your child or something. And I think those for me personally were the biggest struggle. But looking back, if you're talking about work-life balance, is of course the golden nuggets, right? And that's how you learn so much.
Yes.
So it in the end it paid off. But those were definitely my three at the beginning.
Wow, I truly believe like people who are tuning in right now, they would also have to face certain kind of challenges like what you have faced before. Like for example, having mental health deterioration because of PTSD, for example, for yourself, and also at the same time you had you because of mental health issues at that point of time, probably your physical health was also pretty much affected, and also at the same time you taking the action, and then after that there weren't any productivity from there, and there weren't any results from there. So that's also
exactly. And if you don't have those gurus out there who say go work for 90 hours when you're already in on the point of suicide or depression, or that's absolutely not good advice.
Yes, definitely.
If it works for them, you got my blessings, because I'm all about teaching, finding a way that works for you. But I just want people to know it's not the only way to get things done.
Yeah, but I agree.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, you also face some challenges in terms of like probably in other than emotional, the mental, the physical, and also at the same time getting actions done, and then nothing came out of it. And also at the same time, you also face some challenges in terms of like
then you start doubting yourself. Are you good enough?
Doubting yourself. Who should you follow instead, and all this kind of other reasons that actually came behind and that challenged you, right? I truly believe all these people who are tuning in, they also would have faced this. But the reason why the Legacy Show is still running, and to be honest, I also had times where I feel like giving up this podcast. Like even though I had a lot of people coming in, a lot of amazing people, and this time around it's also a great partnership between me and Brains Magazine, that we actually got people like you and many other people that's coming in as well. And yeah,
Yes.
I saw potential like in
So
this
what made you
podcast.
decide to continue, if I may ask? Because if you felt like giving up, because those are the golden nuggets. Where you decide that you do keep going.
Yep. I would say that, the reason why I kept this going is because the amount of people that's reaching out to me for interview, like, and it's not like underdogs that are coming in. They are people who has already had a lot of brilliant results, and even my past guests like Steve Sims, Paul Getter, they are all introducing their clients or even their coaches to this podcast and allow me to interview them, even though they know that I'm not gonna pay them, or I'm not paying anyone for my podcast interview. And also at the same time, even though I'm not buying any packages from them after that or before that or whatsoever, or even during the show, I'm not buying anything from them, but they still find that, hey, this guy has potential probably, and they want to add as much value to me. So I feel inspired. And also at the same time, like this morning, I got a message from Paul. I got a message from him and his team saying that, hey, I have someone that you have to interview. Hey, this is someone that you should come on to the show and get yourself interviewed. And I was like, wow, I have not
Oh,
thought. I have
that's
not thought.
fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's fantastic, and the amount of networks that I can get to meet and get to connect with them, it's a lot. And I got to meet a lot of people that's not just featured on Brains magazine, but I've many people that have been featured on multiple podcasts, Forbes magazine, and whatever magazine that's out there, Thrive Global and all. Yeah, they all have been there, and
The
they all
the big names, yes.
the big names, yeah, the big
Yeah.
names of magazines, the big names of podcasts, the big names of whatever that they have been featured, they all want to be a part of this, and I was like really stoked. Like, man,
Oh.
I, I am really really blessed to have so many people to actually want to come on board, and that's why I kept this podcast going. Even though there's some people who told me that, hey, probably you got to change the game plan, which I will. Look
To
into
be
it. I would
continued.
strategize. Yeah, to be continued. Yes. So today it's not so much about me; it's more about you. So I wouldn't want to
So
talk
I
so
was
much.
just curious, but let's
Yeah,
keep going. Yes.
yeah. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And also at the same time, right? I truly believe, none of us can actually achieve success without some help along the way. Like literally, you also would have um, gone through that dark time during that period of time of PTSD, and probably even like when your daughter was born. um, was there a particular person who you feel gave you the most help or really encouraged you while you were building your business up?
Well, I think that has to be my husband, just because it's we're here together with now two children, because I got a 2-year-old now
Wow.
too. But it's really effectively. Well, what he's really good at, let me say it like that, is believing in me. So even
Mm.
if I doubt myself and think, should I be doing, should I be continuing? And it's always yes, yes, yes. It's all at the end. It's always yes. I believe in you. So he didn't like did stuff for me or that kind of stuff, but it's just that whole, he's my cheerleader. He just believes in me, and I think that even though he didn't do anything besides, of course, his yeah, being my husband and helping with the house and the children, and things husbands and wife do. Just the fact that he believes in me, I think that had the biggest impact. So as I figured it out, what worked for me, yeah, just that space holding that he did, I think that yeah, that's the biggest one.
Yep, I totally agree on this, especially husbands who are really supportive of their wives' goals and dreams. Like
Yeah,
literally, it's like as if um, I myself wanting to have a girlfriend who supports me, and yet, she's belittling me, for example, and all this kind of stuff. I don't think it will last. And also at the same time, I don't think the whole business idea or whatsoever idea would actually come true in a sense, because many people would actually be suffocating themselves, like trying their best to please
yeah,
the girl or the guy, and try to
yeah.
make
That's
things
the
work.
sacrifice bit. Success comes through
Yeah,
sacrifice. And that's
Yes.
why it's so deeply rooted in us, and then it shows up in all kinds of different ways. Whether that it's you internalize it, so your health starts to be effective, whether it's the relationship,
Mhm.
or you know, and yeah,
Yeah, that's why
doesn't
it's
have to be this way. Yeah,
yeah, that's why it's really important. Guys, girls, remember to have a supportive husband, supportive wife, supporting
and
boyfriend or
support
girlfriend,
yourself,
and
back
support
yourself
yourself.
up, believe in
Yeah,
yourself.
believe
Yes.
in yourself. If you can't
Yeah.
even believe in yourself, then who the hell will believe in you, right? So you have to actually start believing in yourself, and that's why it's necessary for you to actually go and find a partner who is really supportive during the whole journey of your hustle and grind, and also, of course, taking care of yourself as well. And
Yeah.
I just want to ask you this question, and that is, what is that one thing you wish you knew before starting your business?
Oh, I think the biggest one for me personally is that how important that mindset alignment piece is. Like I said,
Mhm.
with when you all those gurus say do this, do that, that you will work, it will be a success, it will be a success. If you believe that it will never work for you, it doesn't matter what strategy you do, because you will self sabotage in some way or another. And that's why it's so important that if you're looking for change, because you say, find yourself a supporting partner, support yourself first, because then that partner will show. Because that's how I manifested my own husband. It's the moment I decided, okay, no one can make me happy. I'm gonna have to look after myself first, and then poof, he was there. And then, of course, you complement each other instead of giving the other the responsibility to be a certain way, or fix you, or etc. So
Yeah.
it's the mindset piece, the alignment piece for when you have a business strategy for growing your business or scaling your business or having the impact you want. Make sure it is in alignment with who you are. It's allowed to be easy, and I think that's the biggest trigger for my clients as well. When I say, look, for this week, it's allowed to be easy. Look after yourself, and then it's like, what? Well, that's triggering. So yeah, life's allowed to be easy. Just give yourself permission for, even
Mhm.
if it's for a day or for a week. I'm just gonna look for the good feeling things for the easiest way. I'll figure this out as I go, and yeah,
Okay. I
yeah.
believe, uh, people who are tuning in, they will be like, wow, is that easy, really? Right? And probably,
It
yeah,
takes some
I
time
mean,
to figure out. Trust me, I've been there.
yeah, I've also been there as well. Like I needed to go through multiple causes and people and etc. Then I realized that, oh, okay, so this is how it works, what I should do to
Appreciating
make
the
it
contrast,
even better.
yes.
Yeah, rather than like okay, it's supposed to be that easy, and then I will be like okay, keep thinking, because we humans tend to complicate
Yeah,
things.
we
Correct me if
overthink
I'm wrong.
big
Yeah,
time.
we
Yes.
we overthink big time. Like when certain things happen, we'll be like, oh wow, this could be because of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, but actually it's just A, and everyone will be like, okay, it's actually this, but then you kept thinking over and over, like, oh, it's a huge deal like that. So that's why it's very important for us to actually to not overthink so much and to realize that, hey, once we settled ourselves down, like what Suzanne has mentioned, and then once we are cool, we are more calmer, and then next moment what happens is that boom, a lot of amazing things will happen. Well, the things that you wanted to do for your business or whatsoever, the money that you wanted to earn and all this kind of stuff will somehow or other will fall into place, like as if what
Yeah,
people call it
that's the
laws of
trust
attraction.
element. Yeah.
Yep, 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 yep. I agree. And wow, this is good knowledge that you guys have to really take down. And if you have a pen
Make
and paper,
notes. Make
make,
notes.
make notes, all right? And also at the same time, right? Um, I would like to ask you, because a lot of our listeners, our viewers, they are actually entrepreneurs, and most of them are millennial entrepreneurs. Some of them are actually employees who turn entrepreneurs and they are of the age of like probably 35 to 40 plus to 50. So what's your best piece of advice for aspiring and new entrepreneurs?
Well, obviously, we kind of touched on that earlier. If you find something that's like close to your heart, that matters to you, it makes for such a clearer vision when taking action. If you work for something that you don't really care about, um, it becomes a bit more of a challenge. So if you're thinking about, of course, becoming an entrepreneur or working for yourself, but I see it with a lot of my clients is that they pick something that comes really easy to them. So, for example, one of my clients has a marketing company, and she's really good at writing copy, that kind of stuff. So for email sequences, social media, you name it, she does it. And for her, it's like really easy. She's like, but how can I charge appropriately for this? Because it's just so easy, right? It just comes to me. So yeah, so it's that where your real gift lies is probably something that comes really easy to you. So sit yourself down and have a heart to heart and say, what do you enjoy? What do you find easy? What can you share? What can you create? What are you passionate about? And follow your bliss, follow that direction. And you don't need to go the hard way around making it work.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean,
So
like,
it's a bit tricky, of course, because if a lot of people are listening, there are a lot of different point of views where you're starting. But if it's something that's in alignment with who you are, I think it's the best approach to life just in general. So if you're thinking about, of course, creating the next level of success, do something that you think matters.
yeah, I agree. Doing something that matters is very important for everyone, uh, especially entrepreneurs, because once you actually know what is it that you really want to do and why you want to do it in terms of that passion, the purpose and whatsoever that you have aligned with your values and etc., then I truly believe you are able to actually get that message out, that
People
probably
will
that
resonate
service,
with it. Yeah.
yeah, that product and
Yeah.
everything, and people will resonate with you. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that, Suzanne.
That's
Really, really
probably why
nice.
people are so attracted to you for the podcast as well. Because obviously, I can feel the energy in the room, and
Mm-hmm.
I can feel it comes from the heart. The work you do, you care about this. I can
Yeah,
feel that. Yeah.
I do.
So
I do.
people resonate with that. So you get more people coming your way, etc. So that's it. Just affirms. Yeah, what you
Mm-hmm.
say, it's just in alignment with you. So that's
Yeah.
for me, that's always really nice to see when people are like doing their thing, right?
All right. Thank you. Wow, this is like a testimonial for me.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, like while we were actually chatting, there were people like still messaging me to actually, hey, I want to be on your podcast and all this kind of stuff. Like, oh my God. But of course, um, that doesn't mean that I wasn't concentrating on what you're saying, but that was actually just saying that,
He's
hey, well,
popping
there's
up.
so it's all popping up. It's all the notifications is popping up while we were actually discussing. And of course, I want to actually dive deep into the core focus of our interview for today, and that's how to actually find work-life balance as an entrepreneur. And because we have seen a lot of articles, okay, even the article that you were being featured on Brains magazine and even Authority magazine, etc. And I've seen articles that's on Forbes and Entrepreneur magazine and a lot of times they are all talking about entrepreneurs are finding it hard to find that work-life balance, and there's an issue in terms of the whole entire world that hey, there's work-life balance issue. So do you mind if you share with us why is work-life balance such an important issue in this day and age?
Yeah, the way I view work-life balance, and I'm sure anyone's listening who's been alive on this earth the last year, we all experienced right where work-life balance effectively just became life because it's just I've been for home now a year, but I haven't seen anyone besides the mailman since March last year. So life's all we got. Life's and of course we've got work in there, we've got family in there, we've got you as a person in there. There's so much different elements in there, but I don't know about you, but when I grew up, it was the work hard will be rewarded. So we get taught that the amount of work we put in is equal to the results we get. But if you always have the desire to expand, to do more, to achieve more, because we're human beings, it's normal because that's why we're here, right? To explore the contracts, to grow. There's only so many hours you can put in to see the results you get. So it comes a point that logic doesn't work anymore, does it? And I saw statistics last week that, for example, like 80% of the millionaires are self-made. So 80% of the people put in the work, the hard work, to see the results they're now benefiting from. But there's only, like I said, there are limits to how many hours there are in a day, how much you can achieve. And unless you set it up in a way where you can outsource, or you've got a great team member or multiple members, or etc., you will always be on that level. Well, then you go, of course, try harder, but you can't again. And then, of course, you can see your health go or your relationship, etc. So that's why I think now we're starting to realize this last year how it does serve us to a certain point. But for the next level, you need a different approach. And this is why I teach that energetic time management with the law of attraction, with your energy, but with really allowing the universe to back you up in the expansion you're looking for. And that's why at the beginning I also said with the working hard 19 hours, if you for all those hours work on the wrong thing, it's not going to be helpful, is it? So you might as well just work on the 10 for the right and be done for that week. So I think people really, especially last year, starting to understand how important mental health, general well-being is, and how your mental health, your health also affects other areas of your life. So instead of having that work-life balance, it's looking at life as we just all have life, and there are different elements at play, but we need to find something, some way forward for us that works for us. And even though the conscious beliefs on this is that we need to sacrifice ourselves in order to be worthy to receive, we need to be good enough in order to get these things that we deserve, which is not true. But that's why I think we are really ready for this shift. And I find a lot of those conscious leaders who know, look, I'm ready to believe something else and put myself and my well-being first. And like I said, for the children, the next generations to come, that they don't see their parents work themselves into an early grave.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've seen so many people, not just entrepreneurs, but employees as well. Like they forgot about work-life balance because they all believe in the term work, the hustle, the grind, and they will shine after that because, oh, I work 10 hours a day, 14 hours a day, 20 hours, no, not 20, probably 16, 18 hours.
Some do, yeah. But that's the whole thing. Being busy is often seen as being productive, like it's the same thing, and then it's like, oh, I'm so busy, so I must be important. It's like a badge of honor, right? I'm so busy doing stuff. It's like, because I don't know if it's in on your side of the world, but if you ask someone, "No, how are you?" In Dutch, that means I really want to know how you are, as in let's have a conversation, right? Well, here in Scotland, it's just, oh, how are you? Yeah, I'm fine. How are you? It's not like a real question. But it's just a way to make conversation, but to really go like sincerely connect with people. It's about discovering what's underneath. You know what I mean?
Yes, I get what I mean. So, that's where kindness and empathy comes in a sense.
Yeah, it's we all have our own things going on, and
Mhm.
the yeah, it's finding our way. But like you say, with employees, of course, I work with CEOs and leaders, and because I work with them, it has, of course, an effect on their companies and their employees as well. But yeah, I've seen my fair share of things happening that I'm thinking, who do I talk to? Right?
Yeah, right,
It's
right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all about like who should you talk to after this? Like, you have therapists, you have psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors that's out there to help you out. But if let's
Yeah.
say, if let's say you really do not know who to look out to, then probably you have to look out for these professionals. Otherwise, you can look out for your
Yeah, but the thing is
lawyer.
as well, but of course, if you work for a company who structurally believes in that you just have to, work an all-nighter or something, just because the work is done, that just shows, unless you're like a mental health nurse or something like similar, but I believe that's your field as well. It's like a life or death kind of matter. But
Yeah,
most of the things is just bad planning.
correct. I agree. I
Because we saw it with the pandemic as well. Things that had to be done, most of the times were now just completely delayed for like 3 months. Thinking,
yeah.
why couldn't I have done that in the first place and not overwork everyone? Like,
Yeah.
really? Yeah, so I can talk about this for hours, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, really, like you need to it's like I mentioned earlier, like it's a wake up call for everyone, and it is actually a wake up call for people who only believe in the hustle and they realize that, oh my God, look at my family or my best friend or my employer, my buddy or whosoever, he's getting COVID. He's really successful, and to be honest, there's one entrepreneur that's supposed to come on my podcast, but he actually passed away just
Hmm, sorry to hear that.
just a month or 2 months ago because of COVID-19 and complications of it. And that's why, giving tribute to this guy called Dr. Sam Bakhtiar. He's really popular in the States. Yeah, he wanted to come on my podcast, and next moment suddenly he was
Oh, that's
quiet
sad.
because he was actually lying on the hospital bed, and he has three or four kids, if I'm not mistaken, 3 or 4 kids, and his wife, he is widowed right now because of his death, and thankfully he has a huge business that actually generated a lot of money, and thankfully he has insurance and all these other stuff that can help him out
Yeah,
with
but
the.
that won't replace him, does it?
Yeah, but it won't
Yeah,
replace them. So that's why all of you
that's sad. Yeah.
entrepreneurs, who are really hustling, grinding, finding
Make
that,
time for the other things too. Yeah.
yeah, make time
There's
for
nothing
the.
wrong with putting in the effort to make your dreams come true. I'm not against, you know, making things happen for yourself, but realize, like you say, if it's like 20 or 30 years from now and you miss your little baby growing up, um, was that worth it? Maybe not. So find a way to yeah, have your dreams, have your work, have your passions come to life, but also make time for family members, for loved ones, for yourself.
Yeah,
And yeah, because I don't know how the situation is with you guys, if you're allowed to see people, but I know here people are really like, we're done. We just want to go talk to our neighbors and give them a hug, right? It's
yeah.
been a year now, so it's
Whoa,
yeah.
must
And
be
that
tough.
you can look at the mental health statistics here. Of course, you see depression's up, suicide is up, alcohol use is up. All those things are up. Thinking, yeah, we could have seen that coming, couldn't we?
Yeah, no one expected COVID-19. No one expected this pandemic, and somehow or other,
No,
yeah, no one, no general public expected. Okay, I wouldn't want to
no,
go politically in this because the podcast is not about politics and all. I wouldn't
no.
want my podcast to be from the top 1.5% to all the way to the bottom 1.5% of the whole podcast.
No, but
But
the point is that mental
yeah,
health is important for every single one
correct.
of us. Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
exactly
I
it's
agree. Yeah,
yeah.
but jokes aside, you have been actually helping the top 1%, those successful top 1% people like CEOs, leaders in companies and things like that.
Yeah.
So don't mind me asking you, what are the top 5 values from the richest 1% when it comes to work-life balance?
Yeah, what I've seen a lot in the media and as well as growing up, it was always the normal people versus the rich, right? So it's the Robin Hood and the stealing of the rich to give it to the poor. Although all these stories are weaved into us as a culture, and I find that a lot of messages out there about the rich people, the 1%, is that it's all quite negative. Well, the people I attract, that I work with, actually have similar values as I have, and I found them. I've written an article about this as well, so that's why
Yeah.
we're now talking about this. But it's for example, they value innovation a lot. So things like we've always done it this way. It's like a really dangerous phrase in the English language, right? And they really value of finding a way forward, finding even maybe bending the rules, which some get into trouble, but that's another story. But it's how progress gets made, because if people constantly say you can't do what you can't do, and there's one person who actually does it, and that's how we evolve, of course, as a human species. And that's the fascinating thing, that the people I work with really, love giving birth to those new, innovative ideas and products and things. So that's really cool to see with. And one other thing they really value is also that they value quality time. So like because I've googled around this extensively, a lot of things is like, the rich people don't have work-life balance. They all just work. Well, some do, absolutely.
Yeah.
But not everyone. You can't just say, oh, you've got so X amount of money, so therefore you have to be this person. There are different people, different variations.
True.
The people I work with is that they really value quality time. They may not always manage to figure it out, so that's why they hire me. But they really understand that if they look after themselves, if they get enough rest, whether that's like rest as in spending time with family, or rest as in going for a nice hike over the weekend, get some fresh air, or however you feel it really benefits the quality of the work they do, how productive they are, and how to show up as a leader and to be that inspiration. And that's why it ties in with another value, is that they really value themselves as much as they do. Because I don't know about you, but you see the horror stories of the bosses who just rip off the employees and they get all the money. And the people I work with actually understand that if you value yourself and if you value what makes the other person so unique, and let them shine in their element and you shine in their element, if we then all shine together, we can get so much work done, instead of you blame the fish for not being able to climb a tree. Right? So it's really appreciating the uniqueness and how amazing people are as an individual, and then combining the right people, the right elements in making the company better, or the department or the team. And that also then ties in with personal expansion, so that they really value you as an individual, but also that you have space to develop yourself. So whether you go on, I don't know, a meditation course, or you prefer to just, like I said, learn another language on the weekend, or just those things that matter to you, that make you happy, that help you just grow in life. And that doesn't need to be work related, but that there's time for themselves, but also for their family members, their staff, their community, to appreciate that in each other.
Nice.
Right, and that ties in with then the last value, that they love giving back. So whether that's through financial donations, because I've seen a lot of donations being made in the last year by the richest people who are like, no, this is not okay here, and is a big chunk, let's go do this. Or if it's like because they're freeing up time because of the different things I help them implement, a lot of them also find themselves like volunteering or helping with schools, with theater, because they just love
Wow.
being creative. Those the things that like don't matter in terms of success, because as a society we don't say, oh, look, you sued that in the weekend for your daughter's class performance or something. You're not going to go get an award for that, right? But it's just those small things that make life worth living for, and then
Mhm.
giving that back. So those are the five values. So innovation, quality time, value themselves as much as you do, personal expansion, and then giving back in a way that works for them.
Wow, these are really great values that I actually see in many of these people like Bill Gates, even like Mark Cuban, and all these other celebrity CEOs, for example, right? And even people who are they are pretty low profile, but they are really, really, really successful. They have their big cars, the big houses, and all this kind of stuff. They all also value these five values that you have actually mentioned. They really value these five because without this, they would be probably like the next uh, I would say that the next K-pop star, Korean star, or probably the Hollywood star that actually committed suicide because of depression, because they
Mm.
were suffering deep down, like they just didn't want to share it out. They had some issues, but they didn't want to share it out. People thought that wow, they're still smiling and all this kind of stuff, but deep down they are actually sad and they are just pretending to be happy in front of
Yeah,
the cameras and all. So that's why it's very important for you to actually not, you know, go down that path. It's really important for you not to go to that path. I would
yeah,
rather you go to that path that actually Suzanne has mentioned, that five values that's really, really important for everyone to actually not
yeah. I
just
think you
write down,
you
but
touched on a really
implement.
important point there. Is that for people that they don't
Mhm.
have to pretend anymore. Look, if
Yeah,
you're not in a good place right now, that's fine.
yeah. If you are
But
not in a
also
good place,
know that there is a way out if you want
yes.
to, and when you're ready. If you
Yeah.
just want just miserable today, it's okay. It's okay. I've been there. I've been there. Absolutely. It doesn't need to be fixed right now. There's nothing wrong with you, but there
Mhm.
are ways out of there if you want to. It's
Yeah.
just because we know we don't talk about mental health, and it's all
Mhm.
secretly hush hush. I know a lot of people don't even know that a depression can be improved, in some
Yeah.
cases even resolved. Um, of course, it's a generalization. I can't say we can fix it for every single person, but there are ways for you to improve the current situation you're in. Because if you ask me, it's now 17 years ago. If you would have asked me 17 years ago, can you fix your PTSD? I would have just laughed and said, sure, whatever. But so many years later, I'm in a good place, and life really can get better. But it's just finding your own way, your own balance that actually works for you.
Yep, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. Nice. Well, this is really important for everyone who's tuning in because you would have suffered some stuff right now. Probably you have suffered a loss, or you would have suffered probably mental breakdown. But then at the same time, you needed some help. So if you really need that, please go and seek professional help. Or if you need some help, you have a mentor that you look up to, look for that mentor. Or if you are very shy and you're very egoistic to say that, hey, it involves my face, like literally it will the person will cut me off if I were to ask, then all the more you shouldn't ask that person. You should ask somebody that you really, really trust. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Not everyone will get it. That's true.
yeah, I
But there
agree.
is
And
help.
yes,
Yeah.
and that's definitely help for everyone. And I just want to ask you, right? So, after knowing all this work-life balance and all this kind of stuff, the 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 values that your clients, especially those CEOs and all have, so how do you actually help your clients to achieve work-life balance?
Yeah. So that, as I mentioned earlier, the download I got on my, what was it? 29th birthday was about teaching people what I knew, and I called it the Grant method, because my husband's last name is Grant, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. Hence, Grant method. It was just, it came to me. I liked it. It stayed, and I helped them go through 3 phases. Which the first phase is really define the bold goals of your life, of your business, what you want, because a lot of those things we are conditioned to believe that we want are actually not in alignment with what you really want. So it's as they call here, the white fence with the 2.4 children, that kind of stuff, right? If that's not what you desire, and you keep trying to create that, you cannot be miserable. So it's really getting to the core of your soul desires. Why are you here? What do you want to create? How much time do you want to spend on work? How much time do you want to spend alone? How much time do you want to spend with your partner? Do you want holidays? Do you want all of it? That's the first bit, that we figure out what it is you want, because I've worked with a lot of busy people. A lot of busy people don't make time to reevaluate their goals. So that's an endless cycle, because you keep being too busy, you don't go to calls, and you're just kind of just winging yourself through life, and that doesn't really help. So first things first, as I called it, the grand vision. We need to make that big vision for you happen. Then the second phase is what I called it, the grand conditioning overhaul, where we dive into things like any limitation, any beliefs around time, about success, and we replace them with 21st century vibes. So we really make sure that the things you believe are in alignment with your goals. So for example, here, because I'm in a part of the country where of course the Second World War was really big, 70 plus years ago. And so a lot of us are still having the belief system is that you have to work hard, because our grandparents had to work hard to rebuild the country. Or, our parents had to be grateful that they got to live in a free country. And then we're the next generation. So those beliefs from them are installed in us as the norm, right? So what worked during the Second World War does not necessarily work in 2021. So it's important that we dive into those generational beliefs that you may carry forward, and update them to something that actually supports your vision now. What that is, of course, it's different per individual. But just to give an idea, for example, success equals sacrifice, busy equals productivity, money and time is money, those kind of things, right? That's just to give you a few ideas. Well, once we cleared anything that was limiting, so we can, Dick will start feeling better, we'll get more ideas, we'll work on alignment and stuff. I've got the last phase, which I called the trust and thrive recalibration, where we put in new systems and structures in place so they can have the impact they desire, but without sacrificing themselves. But the thing is that what worked for you, say 5-10 years ago in your business, in your life, usually doesn't work. But we're creatures of habits as human beings. We try to keep doing what works before, right? But even though it's not working, but you keep doing it because it worked before. And so we go into actually getting good systems and structures in place. So for example, if I work with a business owner who grew their business by themselves, and she's making 6 figures a year now, but she's still doing all her appointments manually, because that works in the beginning. And but because she's still busy, she's not going to go, well, let me go find myself some good software, right?
True.
Yeah,
because
so
used to it.
Yeah, because that works, and then but it's a bit impractical with, of course, a different time zone. Well, it's fine, But if you then calculate how much time that person is actually losing on just having to actually make all these appointments manually, she's like, oh, so for that particular client, we save just about 5-10 hours a week just by structurizing that system, where she just had, of course, the online booking system linked to her calendar, have clear boundaries in place. And of course, sometimes you still have a client different times, so you just need to talk it over. But most of the appointments can just go click, 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 done.
Okay. Yeah. True.
No, and even if you then, outsource that the client management then to a VA, who for 10, 15, 20 pounds an hour, just to give you an example, then takes care of the your calendar, right? That's worth the time investment, and that's why I keep my motto is work smarter, not harder. By looking at how you run your life, there's usually so much time just to save if you just tweak it a little bit and just do this or that, and it makes life so much easier when you just allow things to be easy, and that's how that then all ties in.
Yeah.
So that's what we do together. And I've got a strategy session for people who basically just want my opinion and then want to implement it themselves. I can work with you for 90 days when we dive in, and I've got my premium offer for CEOs who are like on the point of like a burnout kind of thing, but they feel like they can't step back, and that's my year program. But that's only limited to 2 or 3 spots each year, just because it's, I'm there for them, period. Like they have full access of me anytime they need me. I'm there, and with my own work-life balance, there's only so much I can do, of course. So hence the limit on that one. Boundaries are important. So it depends, of course, where the client is and what they need. But we really can just dive in and create a life on their terms that works for them. Yeah.
Oh, love it. So for those of you who are really interested to actually know more about how you can actually get your work-life balance, go and check Suzanne out. You can actually check it through all the captions and the links below in our caption below. All right. And also at the same time, I'd like to actually ask you, right? Can you share with us these 3 good habits that can lead to optimum physical and emotional wellness for our audience?
Just 3.
Yeah, if you want to add more, I don't mind.
I think for me the biggest one is what I also recommend my clients is that you have to go back to basics, and it's obviously funny because I'm a high-end coach, and then talking about just the basics, it sounds a bit contradicting, of course, but it's because of the way we are designed to work as a human, but also as a soul. We really need that those basics level of care. So it's make sure you drink enough, make sure you sleep enough, make sure you move enough, make sure you get enough fresh air, make sure you look after yourself, whether it's bath, massages, physical care, contact, talk to people, whatever it is that works for you to be connected. Because human connection, it's good for the soul, right? It's important, and then from there, planning your week, take action from there, and the funny thing is with my clients, as I'm having them, go back to basics, I actually have them plan in time for just them, and they're like, so I'm not doing anything. No. So for like half an hour for the whole week, right? And how many hours do we have in a week again? It's 170 something, I believe.
Yeah, correct.
I don't know the exact number, but just a little bit of time, and that on itself can be really triggering because they're used to being so busy. But just where you can just be, hear your own thoughts.
Yeah.
Have a nice cup of tea, smell the roses, listen to the birdies. Of course, if you're in a big city, that might not be it. But maybe you've got buy yourself a beautiful set of flowers and just go sit next to them and just appreciate them. And those basics, that they are important. And because they're basics, I think most of us just skip past it, jump up bed, be busy all day, and then by the time you hit your pillow at night, it's like, oh yeah. I didn't drink enough again. I'll try again tomorrow. And then you don't do it again, etc. So I think just making sure those basics that are actually really important are taken care of. I think that's the biggest thing The human connection a bit didn't quite fall into the basics, but I think that would be my tip number 2, that make time for you, but also for the people who matter, whether that's give them a phone call, send them a text, just be present. So if you're home, not working, don't find yourself still on your phone, when your kids are talking to you about your day. Put that thing away. Just be present, really connect with people. I think that's a one that's really important as well. And I think the third one, I think taking time to connect to you, I think is the biggest one. Is because depending a bit on your life philosophy, whether that's God or the universe or the source within, just appreciating you for you, loving you for we made it through another day. It wasn't perfect. I may have shouted a bit too often, but I tried my best and I love myself for it. And let's have a wonderful night's sleep. And I think a lot of us are struggling with not feeling enough, not being enough, not feeling worthy enough, and just those few minutes a day of just appreciating, if it's not you, appreciate your children or your beautiful house or something that's nice that's around you. I think it can really have a big impact on how you're feeling long term.
Nice. I really love these habits. I mean, like spending time with yourself, spending time with your family, and also at the same time when you're spending time with them, be present. Like this is something that I learned along the way of making some mistakes and all, and I realized that hey, being present with them is way more important than the presents that you bought for them. It's way more important
Ding,
than
ding, 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 ding.
yeah.
Yes.
Thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's way more important than that, like literally, because if you were to buy as many presents for them, like a watch, a car, a house, and yet you're
In the
not
end, it's
present
just
with them,
stuff, isn't it?
yeah, it's just tough. It's
Yeah.
it's just tough. Yeah, so that's why it will be very tough for you to carry on with that relationship with that person just by buying them stuffs. You have to be there for them so that they will not just feel the stuff that you bought for them, but they will feel you being with them
Yeah,
instead.
that's the thing with time. You can only spend time once.
Mm-hmm. True.
And the way we spend time shows us the parent patterns and the mindsets that I mentioned earlier as well, on how we value time. Do you value
Mm-hmm.
time enough to show up on time? Do you value time enough to make time for you, for things that matter to you, for your loved ones? Or are you just basically just throw your head at it and just winging it, whatever? And especially when talking to loved ones, because I've seen this as well. I was talking to someone earlier this week who he worked as a counselor before, and he was talking about how someone came to him. He wanted help because he just sold his company, who he was spent building for the past 12 years, and he was a grandfather now. But his son didn't want anything to do with him. I was like,
Oh,
what can we do to fix it? So as they started digging into the story, he started his business when the boy was 13. He worked for 12 years, really, really hard, sold it completely, early retirement, and now he's 25. And his son says, "No, you weren't there for me then. I don't want you here now."
oh, damn.
And I was like,
That's sad.
"Oh, I can feel it in my heart, right?" And it's like, this
Yeah,
is what we're trying to avoid. There's
yeah,
nothing wrong with building your dream, with your life, but there are other people in the equation that matter too, and you need to think about how it works for you, for your family, for your business. And this is an example how it clearly did not work.
yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. If only he were to meet you way back.
Go back
Yeah,
in time, yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Then
so that's why it's
probably.
so important that we have these conversations, that we can actually bring raise the awareness of people go, oh, crap, this is my pattern. I'm gonna go hire her, and let's change this for the families involved, because
Yeah. I
There is a
agree.
different way available.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They need this, or else they will have a lot of pains and shortcomings that's coming up during this whole period of time. So
Yeah.
it's not easy. And as we are coming to the end of the podcast, I would like to actually ask you one final question. Okay, and that final question is very, very interesting because a lot of times people have not thought about this before. Okay, so Suzanne, you have actually built your business pretty big already in a sense, but it could be bigger. But you have already brought it to a level that many people would love to have. And if let's say you suddenly lose everything in terms of your business, your assets, probably even your clients, okay, what will you do in the first 30 days?
I think, to be honest, I would just rest. Because that would be quite a shock on the system, right? If it
Yeah,
goes dum 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 and everything comes crashing down, I
yeah.
think I would really just work on, because it's like a grief process, right? So it's
Mhm.
the realizing, ah, crap, that went wrong. Like you go through the process of maybe beating yourself up for and all the emotions, things
Mhm.
should have done better, should have
Yeah.
done this, etc. And a big piece of my work is I teach people to work on their alignment before taking action. And I don't think if
Okay.
my whole world came crashing down, for me then to go, let's do this, guys, and then start pushing from that point, I don't think that would serve me, my family, or my business best. So I would really take off the time just to work through the emotions and work
Mm-hmm.
on my alignment, and then allow the universe to inspired action, whatever comes through when I meditate, yeah, to guide me moving forward again.
Nice. I totally agree with this in terms of taking that reset. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's like you meet some like for example your laptop has some issues, it has some malfunction a bit. What you got to do? Reset. You got to just press on the power button,
Yeah.
reset it, and then let it go again. So it's just like what Suzanne has mentioned. Life is like this. Once you hit a setback, it's usually a time for you to really reset and really think through like what is going on, what did I do wrong, and what
Mm.
can be done better. And then from there, all right, that's where we actually start.
Work, yeah, work from the solution, not from the problem. And
Yep,
yeah, yeah,
nice,
definitely.
nice, nice. Wow, wow. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast, the show, to actually share so much of your experience, your expertise, and your golden nuggets for us. Really, really appreciate it. So, where can my audience get in touch with you?
Well, the easiest way to connect with me on social media is on LinkedIn. And just
Okay.
look for my name, Susanne Grant, and I wear a bright yellow top, so it kind of stands out.
Yes.
It's not hard to find. And if you're not on LinkedIn, it happens. I also have a website, grantmethod.com, and yeah, I share support there. I'm about to launch a quiz. It's not ready yet, so if you give me 2 more weeks, I can actually help you discover your own success blueprint. And so make sure in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you go to my website. You can take the test and discover how you can take your business to the next level, but without sacrificing you.
Wow, awesome. All right, so thank you so much for coming on board, and also at the same time, thanks all of you who tune in live, and also at the same time, listen to it while you're on the bus or you're on the train or whatsoever that you're doing. Thank you so much for tuning this podcast. And last but not least, I just want to say is this for those of you who have been following my journey, just some updates. Ragacy is going to have my own website. Okay, so ragacy.com is coming live to you guys really soon. And for all of you who wants to win in life, who wants to actually get to network with our guests and past guests as well, you can join our tribe of Legacy, which is a Telegram group where our past guests and even our fans get to network with one another. And somehow or other, there are times where quite a few of them actually collaborated with one another. So hope you guys can actually
Join us. Yes.
check through that caption, that link, and join us. All right. So with that, I would like to wish everyone in Singapore good night, and wish everyone in Scotland and any parts of the world good day, and have a blessed week ahead. All right. So take care. All right. Thank you so much. Bye.